Hi, in the last video, I talked about the pre-project work, and in the pre-project work, I mentioned about the project business case. So I elaborated on the contents of the project business case and why it is required to develop a project business case. So once a business case is approved, what next? So the next step is to develop a project charter. In this video, I will explain to you what is a project charter, who develops the project charter, when it is to be developed, what are the components of a project charter, and how it helps in the entire project. So let us first understand that the project charter has to be prepared immediately once the business case is approved. So we are not going to start the project until we prepare the project charter. So this is the fundamental thing, that no project charter, no project. So now who is going to prepare this project charter, or who is going to develop the project charter? The project charter ideally has to be developed by the project sponsor. Now when you develop this project charter and it gets approved, that means your project is authorized. Once the project is authorized, means you are getting the resources to execute the project. The another important aspect of this project charter is the project charter. Once it is approved, the project manager is also appointed. Now the project manager is the important person who is going to do this entire project, who is going to execute this important project, and he is going to lead this project. So the organization is going to provide him the authority to deploy the resources for execution of this project. So what is a project charter? Now in simple terms, if we just split this project charter. So what is a charter? A charter is nothing but a statement that provides additional information, and a project charter is nothing but a document that provides information about the project. So the project charter, is this just a document? No, it is not just a document, and time and again I am going to emphasize on this, that don't treat project management documentation as something bureaucratic. Treat it as a framework. So when you have certain documents, when you are required to prepare a document, you are actually applying your thinking, you are trying to check different points, you are going to validate some assumptions, you are going to discuss it with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, and then it is going to be developed. So it is not just something which is type of a mundane work. It is not, we are not just reproducing something, we are developing it. So focus on the work developed. We are not at all copying, replicating something and generating heaps of documents. That is not at all the intent on this. So it is not required, it is not mandatory that unless and until this document is there, you should not proceed. Yes, the document should be there, but we should be engaged with this document, we should be involved with this document, and this first document is the project charter, which is so indispensable because we are going to refer it time and again until the project is completed. There are, if you when we go ahead in this process, we are going to do a iterative process. We have the flexibility to come back, but this document particular is not at all we are not going to come back again. We are going to prepare it, and it will be sort of a reference document. So the business case and the project charter will always be used throughout the project. So let us delve now into the components of the project charter. There are 12 elements or 12 items that constitute the project charter. Number one is the project purpose. So why are we doing this project? Some of the information you can find in the business case as well, because it is the same information which we have also elaborated in the business case. You can use that information to complete this project purpose. The second is measurable project objectives and the related success criteria. So we are going to define the success metrics. How will we come to know that the project is complete? So these are some quantifiable objectives. The third is the high level requirements of the project, because we are initiating the project to fulfill certain requirements. So there could be many requirements, but just we are skimming through the high level requirements. So it is again focusing on, we are not doing any detailing, that's why it is mentioned specifically about high level requirements. The fourth is high level project description, boundaries and the key deliverables. So what is the final objective which we are going to, which the project is going to deliver. So those deliverables again high level. The fifth is overall project risks. So again, if you see, I am saying overall project risk. It is not, we are not going to do a detailed risk analysis or risk identification. It is on a broader level. It is a bird's eye view sort of thing. The sixth is the milestone schedule, because many projects, they are not only, they could be running on multiple years. So we have to identify the milestones so that the authorizing authority also gets to know what are the important milestones and how the project is going to accomplish. So it's general to give a overall feel of the timeline. The seventh is the financial resources. No project will be complete unless and until we have the budget. So what is the spending? Are we going to spend this in the currency? I mean to say, what will be the currency and what is the amount? We can also very well slightly elaborate on it to mention how this amount is going to spend. Like if you are going to do this project in multiple years, on a quarterly basis, how much amount you are going to spend, that also you can do, but it is again on a broadly, it is not detailing, it need not be too precise, it is just to give an overview. The eighth is the key stakeholder analysis. So not a detailed again stakeholder identification, but the key stakeholders, the entities who will be impacted through this project, we have to list them down. The ninth is the project approval requirement. Now, during this entire process, we will be doing a lot of activities wherein money has to be spent, or money indirectly also it will be spent when you want to hire resources. Who is going to authorize this? So, what are the approval limits? That has to be mentioned. Then is the project exit criteria. We all know that the final exit criteria is when the project is completed. But if there are certain circumstances or situations wherein it is not commensurate with our expectations, so we can very well mention that the project, what will be the exit criteria. So it will give a sort of a guideline also. The 11th and the very important one is the appointment of the project manager, because until now I haven't mentioned about the project manager, but this project will be led by a person who is the project manager. So the project manager appointment is one of the important characteristics of the project charter. It is the one of the important element of the project charter. So now onwards the project manager comes into picture and he will lead the show. While the project charter is developed by the project sponsor, the project manager can also help him in developing this project charter. The only difference is that it will be signed or authorized by the project owner and not the project manager. Project owner in the sense the project sponsor. And finally, the last element is the name and authority of the sponsor has to be mentioned. So this completes the entire project charter. So the 12 components, once you give a thought to it and list it down and prepare this crisp document, the project charter is ready. And once the project charter is approved, that means your project is also authorized and you can start working on the project, do the detailing that we will elaborate in the next few steps. So I hope that the two elements which I have explained to you until now, that will give you a confidence, that will, if you start using these tools, that will definitely provide an element of success that will help you in leading your project successfully.